How great to be back together again for this one.
It is great.
Yeah. What do you find juicy and you love about these characters?
Pomegranates. Grapefruit. I am actually crazy about grapefruit at the moment.
Grapefruit is
I've had
good.
2
It's a
today.
good fruit. Lots of vitamin C.
Thanks.
Yeah.
What is it about the characters that you find juicy?
Look,
Or do you?
No, I do. He's so juicy, that Charles. He has changed. I've done 4 films and he's been pretty radically different in his personality and his psychological makeup every time I've played him. But particularly, the first one, second one, and this one, and that's just as an actor, that's almost like playing a new character every time I come back to him, so it's fresh each time.
Yeah, I think just the fact that they're pretty complicated characters. They're like Eric's very contradictory. He's very Machiavellian, but then he's also has a sort of code of ethics. And a lot of the times, I think the fans would agree. I think is that they're sort of rooting for him a lot of the times. They kind of understand where he comes from. He's got a very traumatic history, and there's a lot that's happened in his life which allows me to draw from that, and sort of it's easier for me to figure out what his motives are and what has sort of made him this sort of person that he is today. And like James said, I've had chances to sort of explore him in different parts of his journey and different times of his life, so that's been cool.
For a lot of the fans, it's the relationship between the two of you that they find the heart of this. Is that the same for you both?
I think that they coexist without seeing each other very much, but I think that, and it's not to say that they couldn't exist without each other, but I think for Charles anyway, it helps define who he is, seeing who he is, and
It's
going,
like Rangers
I'm
and
the
Celtic.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? That it's sort of, there's a clear line that where that way of thinking is and where my way of thinking is, and he almost helps me identify myself and see myself and sort of characterize myself,
And we really see that at the end of the movie, don't we?
Yeah, I think with Eric, I feel like Charles is his best friend, but he still will go to war against him, and they sort of have very opposing views on the future of the sort of mutant species, but there's a great deal of respect there. And that's really sophisticated in terms of how the world works, really.
And for Charles, is let the celebrity go to his head a little bit. We definitely get to see, like you said, another side of him this time.
Yeah, he fell in love with the poster of himself, do you know what I mean? He's kind of stroking it before he goes to bed at night, and he believes his own press. He's got a message, and it is a positive, and it is a good message. It's one of inclusion and integration. But he's sort of slinging that message more than he is applying that message in the world around him, in his home life,
How great to have Sophie at the centre of this. So how do you think she did?
She nailed it. She absolutely nailed it. She's brilliant. And also what she did in Game of Thrones just recently is so different, where she's so strong, in command. She's so almost cerebral in Game of Thrones, whereas in this she's so volatile and vulnerable and out of control at times. She's clinical in that and just doing something completely elemental in this. It's really interesting to watch. Just that range, I think it's great for her.
Did you enjoy working with her, Michael?
Yeah, I was really impressed by how she took on the role as lead of the film on such a big film like this. And also, there's a lot of takes for these sort of scenes, especially when she's doing something that's really emotionally taxing. And hard to deliver that take after take, and she did it each time. I mean, I was like, a lot of those scenes where I'm opposite her, I was just blown away by how she could deliver that each time. And then she's also got a she's got a great technical awareness, and to marry those two things together is not easy. So it was very impressive.
And especially with you guys. I mean, she's coming on set with the biggest actors in the world, and Jessica Chastain as well.
She didn't even know who we were.
She was like, James who?
She was like, yeah.
Is that
She's
you,
like,
McGregor?
I'm in Game of Thrones, biggest TV show in the world. Who are you?
Are you Jerry McGregor? That's me. Do you know what? It's been watching a couple of evolutions. Simon going from writer to producer to director, and being there to help support that evolution. And then likewise with Sophie, you know, she had a smaller part in the last one and more of a supporting player in the last one, a key one, but still a supporting player in the last one, and helping to support that evolution and to, you know, carry in the film is just, it's good to be around.
And watching Jennifer, you know, Jennifer exploded after First Class, you know.
Literally.
Yeah. It was, you know, it was like...
She become, what, maybe the biggest actor in the world, you know, at the time.
So are you both Game of Thrones fans? I get a feeling.
I haven't watched it yet.
You've never seen it?
No, I've never seen it. I'm waiting for it to end so then I can sit down knowing that I don't have to wait for another season. You know, I'm usually catch up about 3 years after the fact. So I will sit down and watch the entire...
So now you can. It's all over.
Exactly.
It's
perfect. It's perfect.
James?
Look, I've read all the books and I've seen all the shows. I've got a complicated relationship with that program, with that, even the books. But yeah, I've seen it all.
What's your complicated relationship?
Yeah.
Well, just the source material's like even messy towards the end. I think what they've done in the TV show is great, and I think Sophie is absolutely nailed it this season. It's been incredible watching her do her thing.
Want more extra? Hit the subscribe button and the bell and never miss a video.